Your voice was also different.
With the kind of drinks that they have available to the men in that area. So when you take it, so it kind of like makes the whole chest region very hot. So that drink affects the voice as well. So they have like a husky way of like talking, and they always like.
Hello and welcome to Nollywood Fellow, a channel where I talk Nollywood. And so far on this channel, I've been fortunate enough to talk to a couple of directors, a stand-up comedian, and a music director. But today, for the first time, I have an on-screen star with me, and he's probably the most sought-after star in Nollywood right now. Please allow me to welcome Jide Kene Achufusi, Swanky JKA in the house. Woohoo!
Hello, everybody. Hi. It's a
Hi,
pleasure to be
hi.
here.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Yeah, what do your friends call you?
I think my friends that I respect, the ones that I love, right? The ones that I really like, they call me JK. Yeah, it's just like my initials. Yeah.
All right. So, JK, your movie Blood Vessel is out right now on Netflix. It's just released
Yeah.
yesterday. And I've seen a lot of praises on Twitter or X or whatever you call it. How has the reception been so far?
Uh, to be very honest, I feel like, by the way, hi everyone. This is Jide from Nollywood. And here in Nigeria, which is like the, should I say, the hub or the headquarters for Nollywood, or the home of Nollywood, because now Nollywood has grown. We have people who are making movies everywhere in the world, and it's a Nollywood film, right? But here, when you're releasing to the streamers, you must, the first target is to be able to become number one most watched film in the country within 24 hours of release. That's a very good way to know that you are quite on your way to some numbers. So the plan or the feedback that you're asking, on our end, we are hitting maximum points, because right now it's within 22, 21 hours, we were number one in Nigeria. So now we're waiting to see what other countries we can reel in and take it from there, basically. So yeah, the reviews, perfect. I've seen some few questions online like, oh, why did this happen? And I'm like, okay, I'll get back to you on that. So yeah.
Okay. And anything on how it's doing in other countries? Like, has it reached top 10? Or I guess I saw it in the trending list here in India today, at least. I mean, it wasn't in the top 10, but it was definitely on the trending list. So
Okay, I think I've seen it in popular in the US.
Oh.
It's on there because we have a lot of people who are streaming Nollywood in the US. So yes, it's on there. So but I will have a more updates within 24 hours of being number one in Nigeria. Then I'll circle back and let you know.
Right. So one very interesting thing about this movie is that it's set in the Niger Delta. Is that right?
Yes, it is. It's set in Niger Delta region of the country, which is a very special region in our country. They are the oil potent regions. They are the ones that you find the most oil reserves within their region, and they have been quite notorious sometimes in the past for standing up for themselves and saying, look, we don't feel like we're getting the benefits as to how much profits you guys are making from our lands. And at the same time, we're finding a lot of pollution, and that's not transcending or translating rather into better lives for us, although we're taking lots of risks to be living in this region. So yeah, the locals don't feel that way, and they have been quite vocal sometimes violent, sometimes non-violent. And yeah, that's the region.
And I think it's a very good point that the movie also tried to make.
There have been about 200 movies that has been made in the space of the last 25 years in Nollywood, talking about this region and what has been going on. But this particular one, Blood Vessel, seems to be the one that will have its voice the loudest in an attempt to put the message out there as well.
For sure, great job there. Also, an interesting thing is this movie is in the language of Ijaw. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes, Ijaw.
Ijaw. All right. As opposed to most other films which are in Yoruba and Igbo and Hausa as well.
Hausa.
So
Yes.
Hausa. So how different are these languages from one another? From what I gather, I guess they are pretty different. Like for example, I guess you know Igbo. Igbo.
Yes, I know
You know
Igbo.
Yoruba as well.
Some little bad bits.
Okay.
Yes.
So for someone like you, would it be how difficult is it to understand Ijaw, or is it like totally alien to you?
Okay, so for the Ijaw language, that was the major language in the film, Ijaw language and pidgin English. And in Nigeria, we have different kinds of pidgin. There's the Warri pidgin, there's the Lagos pidgin, there's the you get me. So this one was Port Harcourt pidgin, and a few different Ijaw languages. So inside that Ijaw language, there's another Ijaw. There's like 3 more Ijaws. So there's the Nembe, there's the central area, and then there's one other one again that I can't remember right now. So we all spoke different factions of that Ijaw language that has been underrepresented for a long time. Right? Yeah. And Ijaw has cousins. There's the Shekiris, there's the Urhobos, like they have all different kinds of dialects, basically.
The diversity is actually very fascinating. So
very fascinating.
So how many people in the crew could speak the language, or did all of you have to learn your lines in this new language?
So we had tutors. We had tutors, people who actually spoke those different dialects, who were with us for weeks and also on set as we shot every day. I really also want to say a very big shout out. If we win any awards internationally, we really have to appreciate those women, because it was quite a job. They just didn't know that filmmaking sometimes 4 a.m. we're trying to get a sentence right. You understand? And they had families and everything. So it was a great initiative to have them on set, to have them up onto the point of action, and we tried our best. We leaned into the language, actually. A few of us better than the others leaned into it. I'm one of those ones that they were better than, because I would say, okay, let's go Port Harcourt pidgin on this one, because the language was quite something. So it was an honor. It was a dream of mine to actually learn a language and have variety of options to say with a particular line, depending on how I want to lean. If I want to be comical, or if I want to be if I want to come across as mean. Sarcasm also exists in these dialects as well. So that was also very important as well. Yeah.
Okay. Talking of which, your character was pretty interesting, and the way you brought it to life was also pretty interesting in terms of, there was a difference in the way you walked, and your voice was also different. It was very husky. So is that because of, that's how people in that region speak, or was that more of Boma, more of the character, the thuggish character that made it?
Well, I like to think of Boma as the strongest and yet the meekest, right? He didn't ever try to hit anyone. He didn't ever try to put anyone on a chokehold or display his. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. He put someone on a chokehold. That's the Russian lady, right? But the truth of the matter is, he was quite gentle, but also very. He's in the room. He wants to always have a final conversation before you go. So I thought about him, and I also related with the people who are the real life Bomas. The way I have shared my vision with the director, and he shared his with mine. He's with me, and we said, okay, this is what Boma would look like. Like, we even started to change some things, and to get the perfect one, the one that would not be too much, but you can also tell that he's there holding the group together as well, and letting the day-to-day characters get around and get about. So yeah, I think also with the kind of drinks that they have available to the men in that area, because it's quite a cold region. They're by the ocean, right by the ocean. There's this drink that they call lots of things, different names: Aborachia, Baraga, monkey tail. They have lots of names for it here. Hot. So when you take it, so it kind of like makes the whole chest region very hot. So that drink affects the voice as well. So they have like a husky way of like talking, and they always like, something like that. So, and they're also very soft spoken. They go from 0 to 100. Like, they can be very soft spoken, but when you want to see what it is, they go to 100. So I took a lot of notes from the real life ones, and also thought about the should I say, the commercialization of the character as well, so that it's likable. So it's not just in the background, it's because we also didn't have too much time to build emotions and connect with the audience before they started shooting people, So yeah.
All right, those observations have definitely paid off.
Yeah.
The hard work and the observations and all the notes have definitely paid off. So let's move back to the OG film, or the original film that made us get in touch. Was Living in Bondage, Breaking Free. So back
Yes.
then, were you like? I mean, that wasn't your first film. You'd done movies by then, but were you a star at that point of time, or was that the movie that catapulted your career?
So at that time, I was like a superstar, but just in my mind, right? Only I knew this. Only I knew this, right? But the amazing thing about it is the fact that I've been around for a few years, but in a different region of the country, not in the commercial capital, which is Lagos, right?
Okay.
So the Lagosians are the ones that have lots of cinemas. They make progressive films, but the people in other regions make way more movies than people in Lagos, because it takes less time to make those movies, but they are quite for the commercial, everyday to day person who streams on local platforms here and wants to watch stuff that is not carefully or curated for the big screen. Do you understand? So you can find more mistakes, but they are quite simple and relatable, and they are churning out movies. That those guys are the real workhorse of the numbers you see when they say that Nollywood churns out so amount of movies. Those are the guys that make those movies. They watch those movies across other African countries. Nigeria supplies media and entertainment to those other countries. So those are still the stars there, but you don't see them on the internet too much. They are here now. They have Instagram pages. They have millions of followers, but they're not the ones that you find at film festivals and all of those other regions as well. Yes.
So were you so you were in Enugu? Was that where you were before?
Yes, I was living in the city of Enugu, and that was when I went for an audition, got the role, and moved to Lagos to shoot the film. Exactly.
So now talking about that movie, that was also produced by Charles Okpaleke, and as a newcomer, not a newcomer, but as a relatively newcomer in that movie, you got to act with the stalwarts, D. Ramsey, Noah, and Polo. Okay.
Yes. Kenneth Okonkwo, Andy.
Yeah. So, Andy, sorry. Okay, I was a bit confused in my head. So, so over there, you got to work with the stalwarts, and now again, this Uh, Blood Vessel is again a Charles Okpaleke film. And here the
Yeah.
tables have turned. Now you are the biggest star in this movie. So how does that feel? The journey from, you know,
Wow. I mean, now that you say it, I've been thinking about making an Instagram post and saying, last time you guys saw me with Charles was the first time you guys saw me, and now I'm back with so many new superstars. Like, look, Charles is the guy that always gives opportunities to young talent. You have to be talented, though. He loves that. He loves that. Like, he appreciates that. He just wants to see you shine, even though he doesn't know you or hasn't met you before. He's that kind of guy. You understand. So it feels very good to have worked with all of the new faces on set. We had an excellent relationship, all of us. I was in awe of their performance, their enthusiasm, and everything that made them have that very natural performance. I've had a few conversations about certain things, and those boys and the lady as well, who has also done a few films, Adobe, they were just easy on the eye. They were not trying to emulate anybody. They weren't trying to outshine their partners. It was just it's premium Nollywood. That's what I would call it. It's like the version, just that it's a little dark or it's a little on the sad side, but it's what I would say is like America's Friends. People would always reference that young love, that young brotherhood, that beautiful. They had a lot of values and lessons parked into their scenes. I loved it. Yeah.
moving on. So there was a tweet of yours recently that raised eyebrows, where you were talking about how at the earlier stage of your career, there was a sex worker who helped you with the auditions. So you want to tell us more about that?
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. But it's been nice to address that or to talk about that. Um so when I realized that there was an actual industry, the film industry, or realized where people go to hustle or to try to be in a film, right? Because at that point, the one or two I'd done has been somebody texting me on Instagram and saying, hey. So when I did those ones and I'm like, okay, so what's next? And nobody was saying anything. I realized that I have to go and chase it myself, right? It wasn't going to keep coming in. So when I realized that there was a place where they would have auditions, actual Actors Guild of Nigeria auditions, that's what it was called, AGN auditions. The first time I came, I don't remember how I came, but I know the first time I was there, right? Some people walked up to me and said, because you would sit like in 50 or hundreds, and then you would audition in front of everybody. It's not like a private room. So everybody is seeing what you're saying, seeing how you're saying it. Somebody can even come up and then amplify on what you've done and then take the role, right? So you could either score the role by being the first person or first few people. And that day, the judges are in a good mood and you make it because they really loved you. They won't wait to see what's behind. Or the advantage could be to be the last person to be auditioned, depending on how the judges are feeling, because they could be saying, not enough, go home. And they're like, oh shit, this is what we're stuck with. And they'll give you the gig. So I remember that one of the people that walked up to me and said, we loved your performance. You should not stop coming. No, you're a good guy. You're going to make it. I had a few friends that did that. I remember all their names. I loved them so much. And one of them, who was the one that would always send me the audition notices that says by 5 p.m. be at so and so hotel or restaurant. We'll be auditioning there. That particular lady, I later got to realize that she was a sex worker, right? And being a sex worker, it's a profession in today's world. it's always been. It's probably the oldest profession as well, right? And if a person is not stigmatized by that, or if a person knows that you know that and still expects you to treat them respectfully, that is the kind of relationship I've had with that, my friend. Do you understand? I absolutely adore this person, right? She's my friend. And I only said that in that manner to say most times the people that the society think are the angels of this world will literally exist and you will exist. But the people that would be the man that stops to take care of the guy that's I'm trying to remember the Bible, the Good Samaritan, right? The guy that stops may be the unlikely one. So that was the message I was trying to pass when I said that. And also to remind myself and to draw attention to the beautiful person that this person was to me. Because at some point, she would even send me money to say, you don't have transportation fare? Here, make sure you're there. And because someone has given me the money, even though I might have had it before, but because someone paid for that, I'm like, okay, I'll turn up. And I can't take away from the fact that all those times that she sent it to me at the earlier stage of my career, that's what kept me coming. And that's what made me to eventually decide to stay and not just change industry or something. You know, at that time, we would try everything. In Nigeria, we are big hustlers. You play football, you be a model, you try music. Everybody tried to have a soundtrack at one point, you know, so yeah.
It's incredible how after becoming a huge star, you're still showing the gratitude towards those who helped you out in the earlier stages. That's incredible.
Very, very, very important to me.